my second electric guitar. After I got the Gibson and was disillusioned with it, I started thinking about I need something different. So, oh, and by the way, my face looks a little bit red. It's because I've been outside in the cold wind, snow blowing. Anyhow, I digress. So I started looking and I figured what I need is a Strat. It probably has the sound I'm looking for because this Gibson sounds dark and muddy and I don't like it. Okay, so I started doing some research and I thought, well, I don't want to spend as much money as I did on the Takamine again, so let's look on eBay and find a reasonably good used one. Well, I looked and looked and looked, and I found one that I thought I liked. It was a Fender Special Run. It was red. It had a special pearl pickguard on it, like a pearl gray, pearl, black pearl. The headstock was painted red, so I bid on that. And I got a message from the seller saying, I can't bid on it because I'm in Canada. And he wasn't selling it to Canada. So I dickered with him, and to no avail. All right, so I thought, all right, let me see what else is out there. And in the meantime, I'd also been looking locally on our Kijiji, which is like the American Craigslist, and I found this what seemed to be a young fella that had a brand new American Stratocaster that he wanted to sell because he needed the money to buy a MacBook for college. Somebody had given him a gift certificate to Long and McQuaid, which is one of our largest music stores chains here across the country, and so he bought the guitar and tried to sell it so he could get the money back for his MacBook. Okay. Well, I had seen it, and he was asking, what was it, like $950, I think, to start with. And this guitar was listed for $1,200. What he actually paid for it was the $1,000 that he got in the gift certificate. And, you know, it's an American Fender. It came with a hard case and the strap and a cable, which I still use today somewhere, oftentimes. The guitar was brand new, never been played, still in the plastic, in the case. Okay, so I said to him, you know, I can get you about $700 today. He says, no, it's way too low. All right. So time had passed while I was doing all of this other eBay searching, and it was getting very close to September when he had to go to school, and I saw the ad again, and he had dropped the price down to $800. So I contacted him and I said, I'm interested. I talked to the young fella, and he wanted to meet me where he was working on the weekends at his church, and I thought, okay, church sounds safe. So off I went with $800 in my pocket. I decided to give him all the money, you know, to get his computer as best he could. And he also threw in like an extra capo and an extra set of strings and stuff that, you know, he had. All right. So I went, took a look. Everything was fresh in the case. I thought, okay, here's your money. Put the case in my car, and home I went. And that's how I acquired the American Stratocaster. So I got it home, and everything seemed to work and make noise on all the selections, and I thought, all right, that's pretty good. So I was online, and this was, you know, part-time on the weekends. at that time, and I was trying to make it sound like songs that I was wanting to learn to play, and I just couldn't get it to sound like I wanted it to. And I'm thinking, to my trained ear at the time, right? I don't like these pickups. I just find that they sound, well, dead. They didn't have that bright punch that I was hearing from other people, so I thought, dang. So you buy a top of the line, most expensive guitar that there is in 2011 from a Fender Stratocaster line, off the shelf guitar, and it didn't sound like I wanted it to. Alright, back in the case, didn't have time. Over the next little while, and I don't know how long that was, I decided I have to change the pickups. It's the only thing that I can do, so I started doing research. And I found, eventually, a company called Texas Customs. Now apparently they're in Texas, and I found their website. They had Stratocaster pickups, and I thought, okay, let me listen to their samples. So I listened to the samples, and I thought, that sounds more like what I wanted. All right, so I contacted them, and they said, okay, if you want to buy our stuff, you've got to go to California Music in California. So I found them, and I ordered a full pickguard, wired. It was called Tube and Turbo, with the Stratocaster pickups on it that I wanted. And they said, what color do you want for covers? I thought, okay, I'm getting a pearl white pickguard. I want a contrast of black knobs and black covers. And I thought that would be nice. And they also sent me the black jack to put on the guitar. And so when I got it, it came on this pickguard here, which was a nice pearl. Only one thing. The hole pattern for the screws didn't match the 2011, and I told them specifically, I have a 2011 American Strat, put it on a pickguard that matches that, because I don't want to drill more holes in my guitar. I mean, at the time, I was afraid to put fingerprints on it, let alone have to drill a hole in it. So I get this pickguard. I take off the original pickguard, which is this one. It's still here, brand spanking new as it came off the guitar. So this is an American Fender pickguard, and you know what we talk about today with pickups, high-end stuff. Well, this has the little rubbers in there and not springs, the surgical tube stuff. These pickups are thin, like the Chinese wires. They're just poly, right? They have CTS pots and a wafer switch. Just whatever it is, it's just a brand that doesn't say. And a wafer switch. And that was it. So I measured the bridge that's marked it here, 7.38K, 597 in the middle, and 587 in the neck. So this has been around here. Took it off. It's still got the stickers, the plastic, everything is still on it. Staggered pull pieces. So I was very upset when I got this new pickguard with all the components on it, and it didn't fit. So I contacted California Music, and I said, guys, I told you I needed a pickguard that matched the 2011, and this one doesn't do it. I'm not drilling new holes in my guitar. So I had to work my way up to a manager who they had to find, and then finally when I got him, he says to me, alright, so what can we do to make it right? And I go, well, I need the right pickguard, He says, okay, this is what I'm going to do. It says, I'm going to refund your full purchase price. Oh, and by the way, this fully built pick guard was $350 US. Okay, keep that in mind. $350 US on top of the $800 I already spent on that. So I'm thinking for $350 US with Texas custom pickups in it, I'm gonna get a good product, okay? No doubt about it. Well, he says to me, tell you what I'll do, you just keep the pick guard. I'll refund your money, and just go buy the pick guard that you need, and you know, just transfer the parts off of it, and just keep everything, okay? So I said, okay, deal. So I went down to my local Long and McQuaid, and I says to the guy, I need a pick guard, white pearl, that will fit a 2011 American Fender. And he wanted us to computer, click, 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 and he says, I've got one here. It's going to cost you $60. It'll be here in 4 days. They had to order it in from somewhere. I said, do it. Off I went, got it, brought it home, and I transferred the parts. I don't know if I have a picture somewhere of what's inside this tube and turbo, but it's unlike any standard wiring that I've seen before. And since I've been working on this now a number of years, I tried to measure just today what are the values of the pickups in this pickguard, and I couldn't. Everywhere I go on here, all I can measure is the value of this pot at 230K. Now this is a bit weird in there. There's I know that there's a couple of different capacitors. There's a large metal one, but the round of my little finger, and another one. Plus, there's a what they said was a vacuum tube. It's a vacuum tube, something like you'd see in like the 1940s, 50s, where they had this little vacuum tube. It's about that long. It's got a wire going in and out each end, and there's some filaments in it. Now there's no power in this thing, but for some reason it was supposed to be part of the tone circuit, is what they told me. Alright, well, it works, right? I can get output from all of these things, but unlike a standard wire guitar, if you put it in the bridge position, you can measure the bridge pickup and the middle and the neck. Not this one. So I don't know how it's wired. Since I changed this in 2011, it's never been opened, except to do some shielding on it, which there is a video when I decided to shield these things. This guitar has not been out of the case for at least 4 years, because when I changed the strings on it, I have it in the case written on it that I changed these strings, put them on in 2018. Brand new set of 10s, the Darios. And that's the last time I think I had it open. So, you know, the bridge on this is the original. The block in there is not as thin as the Chinese ones that come today, but it's only about 1.5 times the thickness of the stuff that comes on the Chinese guitars. So, you know, later as I become aware of blocks and stuff, I don't think I got a really good deal from Fender on the block that came with this tremolo bridge. I hardtailed it, by the way. I screwed the springs in so far that the bridge is flat on the body. Not something I would do today, but I did then. You know, I don't like these stamped type saddles, the vintage style saddles on there, but they're original. I never changed it. I've never even put the whammy bar in there. The seal is still on the hole. Candy apple red. I put the matching cover on the back. Fender, Corona, California, original. This one has the neck tilt mechanism in it. Only the American ones have it. This one was built in Corona. I don't think many of them are being built there today. Original neck, original tuners, original string tree. Everything is original on that. Poly on the back of the neck, skunk stripe. Serial number on the back. So that's 2011. It's got some marks on it now. Scuffs and things. I've never really had, except for some polish, I've never really done any buffing of any kind. I didn't really have any of that equipment back then. So it also has the, like, two tones. I've never done anything with this guitar except remount the components off of this. So this comes with a serial number as well, which also came with a certificate of authenticity with Texas Customs. My finger's in the way? Yeah, like that. Oh, I see something in the back here. It says, Dear valued customer, thank you for choosing Texas Customs products. Your unit has been lab tested for correct operation and quality guidelines. Installation instructions. So, got my certificate. And this was my main player for quite a while. And one day I was playing, and I was trying to learn to play Eric Clapton's Wonderful Tonight. And you know how down here you gotta, where is it? There. So I was here, and I was bending, practicing over and over. All of a sudden there was something flaking coming off there, click, 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 and the string was getting stuck, and I'm going, what the hell is that? So I'm looking close at it, and I get out a little magnifier, and I'm going, oh shit, there's poly on the fret. So I'm thinking, there's poly on the fret. So I checked all the other ones, and sure enough, they sprayed poly over every fret on this guitar, and they left it. Was that a fluke? I don't know. I've never seen any other American Fender guitar. Fret ends are great because there's poly on them too. So I'm thinking, what the hell? So the biggest work I ever did on this guitar was to take an X-Acto knife and scribe along every one of the frets, and then scrape the poly off of every one of the frets, and then repolish every one of the frets with steel wool, as prescribed by somebody I saw about polishing frets. That took a long time, and let me tell you, it was not easy to get the poly off those frets without damaging the frets. It was tedious, slow going, and I never want to have to do it again. So, American Fender, poly all over the frets. I had to fix that. Now, I never really thought about, you know, level frets or unlevel frets until after I gotten, you know, some other guitars and more education from YouTube. And I have found, and it's up on my maintenance board. I have a maintenance board for all my guitars. When I find stuff, I go and write it there. You know, if it's not too serious, next string change, do this. So this one has a high fret somewhere, and it's up on the board, and I was going to have to fix it. The action is still really good. It's right down there in the zone for me. The neck feels good. It's bigger than some of the necks that have come on some of my other Strat copies, my tellies as well. But you know, I learned to play a lot of stuff with this one, and this became my standard feel. I think that's it until we actually hear these Texas Customs. Okie dokie. This is just some noise because there's lots of videos on my channel that have this guitar on them up until the point that I built my tellies and become enamored with them, and then this one went back to the case for quite a long time. Here's a little backing track in A minor. That's the way she rolls. I forgot to mention that this weighs 8 pounds and the body is alder. So this became electric guitar number 2 and was played primarily for quite some time until I built 3 tellies, which then became electric guitars number 3, 4, and 5, which I think I'm going to do in the next episode, and I think we're going to do them as a group because they were kind of built similarly with just a few different features. So thanks for watching this episode of electric guitar number 2, the American Fender Strat, the only guitar that I have that actually says Fender on it. So thanks for hanging in with me on this one. Appreciate all your support. I've been receiving some nice comments from a few people about these stories. They're interested, and I guess the ones that aren't, but that's okay too. You know, some things are for some people and some things are for some other people. Appreciate your support. Catch you in the next one.